it's time to run through the Irish Motorsport season. On this episode of the show, we will be running you through all that Irish Motorsport has to offer for the next year. We'll be going through the ICCR classes, we'll be discussing drivers abroad, and we will be discussing a little bit more. This is about circuit racing. Rallying, obviously, a very, very big thing in Ireland, but this episode is solely dedicated to circuit racing. So if you are looking for more rallying stuff, you can find that on the internet as well. There might be a mention of karting later on, that's all I'll say. But if you want more proper karting stuff, you can check out Car Prodigy. They have a good show on that, reviewing previewing, I should say, the season. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into things then. And the ICCR is, of course, the Irish Circuit Car Racing. Oh, what does ICC stand for again? Hold on, I do know this, and I'm definitely not Googling it. The Irish Championship Circuit Racing, that's it. I was close enough. The Irish Championship Circuit Racing, there'll be 5 events this year. They'll all take part in Mondello Park. So the dates for those are the 5th and 6th of April, then there is the 7th and 8th of June, then there is the 5th and 6th of July, then the 13th and 14th of September, and finally the 19th of October. Now, the classes that race in Mondello for the ICC, or all those events are in Mondello Park in Naas, of course. The classes that we're going to be discussing as part of the ICC, they do a lot more racing than just that. So there'll be plenty of events in Bishop's Court and Kirkestown, and we will mention those, as well as Anglesey, of course. There is the trip to Wales for some of the Irish classes. But we'll get straight into the swing of things then and run you through the ICCR classes pretty much. And the newest ICCR class is, of course, the Patch Tyres Junior Mini Challenge. It is they are the new kids on the block in more ways than one. 14 to 16 is the age range for this class, and the aim of the championship is to produce a star of the future. So drivers as young as 14 get to cut their teeth into some of the country's top circuits, and it is an R50 Mini Cooper is the car that is used. Very similar to your road car. If you're ever down in Mondello, you'll know exactly what ones we're on about. There is a Mondello sponsored entry, of course, and a scholarship event every year. An interesting thing about this class is that it actually, or at least last year it did, have a round of sim racing. Now, I have forgot to give a clarification, and I've just remembered that I need to give it now. Just in terms of the ICCR classes, we're going to be previewing drivers and championship rivals. None of the lists of drivers is available to anyone, pretty much. If you want to try get your hands on an entry list for ICCR, certainly this early, a month before, there's almost no chance. There's almost no chance you'll get it up to minutes before the race, if even then. So just to clarify, any of the names we're running through for ICCR, they're not confirmed to be racing in that class just yet. There might be a couple swaps. For the most part, it is going to be accurate. I'm going to give myself 90% accuracy with this, because for the most part, they will be still racing. There's going to be a couple of class swaps. As to the best of my knowledge, I'll try clarify them. I have a bit of insider knowledge on some of the stuff. So if we say someone is racing, there's a 90% chance they are. That could change. That, unfortunately, is just the nature of the ICCR, I'm afraid. Unless you are a class rep or a scrutineer, getting access to the entry list is quite difficult. So that is just a clarification before we get into the swing of things. Right, let's get back to the Junior Mini Challenge then. So it is the aim is to produce a star of the future, and last year there was a star that emerged. Joshua Henry was the champion last season, and Joshua is on to big things this year. He's going over to the UK to race Ginettas, so unsure if he'll be full-time in the class. But he is going over to the UK to race Ginettas. Joshua was coached by Max Hart, who you'll know last season. So Joshua got a good steer there. no pun intended, and ended up winning the championship. Second place last season was Jack Fields, and very impressive late season pace for Jack Fields. He won a double and won the 2 races at the Mini's first ever Sunday event. So the first ever live streamed event from Mondello Park was won 2 races by Jack Fields. Logan Hoy from Louth came in 3rd, and Logan will be racing again this year. Leo Richardson then was in 4th, with Carter TJ Taff in 5th position. TJ and Leo, I believe, will both be racing as well, so keep an eye on them. And then of course we have to just once again give our heartfelt condolences to TJ Taff, who unfortunately lost his father Niall very recently. Niall Taff, a big name in Irish motorsport, and especially the Irish karting scene. TJ races Junior Maxes as well. So just our heartfelt condolences once again to TJ Taft. There was a fabulous fundraiser done to help TJ's season keep going underway and to help him get out in that Mini. So our heartfelt condolences there to TJ and the whole Taft family. But it'll be great to see TJ back on track, and he will be back on track, of course, in the Patch Tyres Junior Mini Challenge. One to watch, but again might not be racing, is Bobby Joe McFall. Bobby is training to become a pilot, so he might not be committed to the full season. But Bobby, of course, won the championship 2 seasons ago, and he won the scholarship. So if he does race, keep an eye on Bobby Joe as always. And there's a lot of Mini drivers that you can keep an eye on. The nature of the class is that it's a lot of drivers you won't have heard from. So there will be a lot of new names every year. There's great sponsorship goes into the class. There's a lot of sponsorship goes in. I know last year there was a driver with Midlands 103 had a sponsor. There is of course the Mondello car, the Mondello sponsored entry, which I'm not sure who's going to this year, but 2 seasons ago it was Bobby Joe, and that's what he won the championship in the Mondello car, which Mondello were absolutely delighted with, I'm sure. So it is a very interesting class, the Patch Tyres Junior Mini Challenge. Some good racing in that class, actually, and you'd expect, because it is very young drivers who wouldn't have an awful lot of experience, you'd expect it to maybe be a little bit reckless, a little bit rough. It is tough. It's very tough. They're very racy folks, and we've seen them in the simulators and stuff recently. They like to get the elbows out. I'll say no more. But it's a great class, and it's a great new one to have in Mondello Park. So that is the Patch Tyres Junior Mini Challenge. If I had to pick a favourite for that one, I'd probably say Jack Files. Purely on the basis that Joshua Henry, I don't think, is committing to it full time, because he's going to be over in the Ginettas in the UK. There was a lot of money put into Joshua's season last season, of course, with the coaching from Max Hart as well. So Joshua, good young driver. Keep an eye on him. Definitely one to watch. Then we will get to the first of our single-seater classes, which is the Formula Shanes. And the Formula Shane's an Irish car, of course. They are all mechanically identical. They're powered by a 1-litre K-Series petrol engine. Quite a nice smell when they go bang. That's all I say. Obviously, you don't want anyone's engine to blow up, but quite a nice smell. Once they leave the Shane factory, the engines and gearbox, they're not opened. Winning is down to the driver, not the engineer. There'll obviously be a little bit of setup adjustments here and there, but it is down to the driver. And there was one driver that made a difference last season, and that was Keith Hogg. Dominant victory over Enda O'Connor in second place. Sean Kiernan then came in third, and Vinny Keogh came in fourth, with Richie Adams in fifth. Keith Hogg, excellent stuff from him. It was dominant, like it wasn't even close. And with all respect to the other drivers, Keith Hogg was definitely the dominant force. And you tip Keith for the championship again, I think, if he gets a full time entry. The Formula Shane, the slowest of the 3 single-seater classes that race in Mondello, but a great class nonetheless. And of course the Shane family still very much involved in Mondello. Philip Shane, I believe, raced a few years ago. And of course the Shane family providing a lot of cars to drivers in the past who could not necessarily afford it. So the Shane family very much involved, and Formula Shane a great class. So Keith Hogg probably your favourite there, but there could be a surprise from around the field as always. It's Mondello, it's Irish racing, so anyone can really have a go. So Keith Hogg and the Formula Shanes. The Irish Touring Car Championship, the ITCC, not to be confused with the ICCR, there's a lot of four-letter abbreviations, but the Precision Graphics Irish Touring Car Championship is for saloon and hatchback cars of various makes and models. So it's not a single car class, it is a multi-class, if you'd like. There is 2 classes as well that race in it. I think listed there's 4, but for the most part on the results it seems to be 2. There is Class A, which is the Super Touring. That's normally aspirated cars over 250cc and less than 6,200cc, and they are all forced inductions to a maximum of 4,050cc. And then you just have your normal touring class, which is normally aspirated cars up to that 250cc. So you get 2 races for the price of 1 in the Irish Touring Car Championship. Last year's Super Touring results, it was Cian Walsh who took the victory over Owen Droughts, and then Stuart Curran got 3rd with Rob Savage in 4th. And he is savage when it comes to moves down the inside. Great racer is Rob. In touring, it was Ian Stryker with a dominant victory over relation Ryan Stryker, David Flynn in 3rd, and then Oisin Clune in 4th. Ian Stryker and Ryan Stryker, in my opinion, should race strikers, but they don't. They race in the Touring Car Championship. But I digress. Ian Stryker dominant in the touring class, the Class B, and then Cian Walsh with a solid victory over Owen Droughts in Class A. I remember 2 years ago at Mondello, a very, 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 very cold, or it was last year actually, sorry, a very cold April morning. Owen Drought, very, very, very quick driver. Took, I think, he either did the double or he won the triple, whatever it was that weekend in many races. But got second last season behind Cian Walsh. The Irish Touring Car Championship is actually a really interesting class. It's one of my favourites when I go. I usually go on the Sunday, as do most people, I think, and it's usually on the Sunday. So it's a very interesting class, the Precision Graphics Irish Touring Car Championship, and Precision Graphics put a lot of money into it. They are great sponsors of Irish Motorsport, of course, and especially in the Irish Touring Car Championship. So the Precision Graphics Irish Touring Car Championship, keep an eye on Cian Walsh, keep an eye on Owen Drought, and Rob Savage as well, of course, as I said. There is only 4 drivers, or last year there was 4 drivers in the Super Touring, so the 4 that we read out. There is slightly more in the touring class. It's cheaper cars, it's slower and easier to run, so you usually see your Hondas, you see the odd Fiesta here and there, but Fiestas at Mondello is a whole different ball game. So that's your Irish Touring Car Championship. And next up, I should say Michael Clune actually came behind Oisin in the touring. So we had Stryker 1, Stryker 2, Clune 4th, Clune 5th. So there was a bit of a relationship battle, or relations battle, I should say, in the touring class. So keep an eye on those guys there. Seat Super Cup then. A really, really brilliant class. I was watching an onboard of a Seat Super Cup race around Anglesey the other day, and the racing is fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and in the Fiestas as well at Anglesey was great. But Seat Super Cup, you may think they're just identical to the Seat Leons that you see on the M50 every day. They're not. They are modified race cars. They are factory-built purpose touring cars, as ICCR say themselves. It was Dave Maguire who took the championship last year, ahead of Stephen Wright in 2nd, Max Turley in 3rd, with Eddie Peterson in 4th, and Paul Parr in 5th. If you have ever been to Mondello before, and you have any sort of attention to the Seat Super Cup or to ICCR in general, you will know all 5 of those names. Very well known, great Seat drivers, great racing drivers, especially Dave Maguire. There's multiple Dave Maguires that do the rounds at Mondello. There's Dave Maguire and David Maguire, don't get confused. It was Dave Maguire that took the championship, and Dave is a really good driver. The Seat Super Cups are it's a fabulous class. It is one to watch, and you don't often see Seats raced too much. I'm not sure there is a Seat championship in the UK. I could be totally wrong saying that, but the Seat Super Cup Ireland is really fabulous, and they have a decent social media effort as well. The cars can actually reach up to speeds of 200 kilometers an hour. They are quite pricey, €25,000. Obviously, they're more expensive than your regular Seat. You're not going to get a Seat Super Cup car on PCP finance. That is for sure. The costs will depend, but it's relatively cheap for motorsport. It's about 2,000 a weekend, which I know there's some people going to be listening to this going, "How can you afford that?" But look, motorsport it's a rich kid's playground at the end of the day. So the Seat, Spanish automobile, of course, Seat, and really, really good class. And as I said, the Seat Super Cups, they do a great effort on social media as well. They have a good X page and an Instagram as well. So you can check all that out if you are interested in more in the Seat Super Cup. So we'll keep going on, and then it is the Fiesta Z-Techs next, and the Fiesta STs, 2 Fiesta classes in the ICCR in Mondello. Last season in the Fiesta Z-Techs, it was William Kellett who took the championship victory. The Kellets you will definitely recognise in Mondello. I have to give a shout out as well to the Kyrgyzstan Fiestas, because I'll be killed by Grace McCallion if I don't. So shout out to the Kyrgyzstan Fiestas as well, not related to the ICCR, but the same cars indeed. Second was Sean McGovern in second, and then David Maguire in third. Different to Dave, as far as I'm aware. Peter Barrable in third, and then Jason O'Connell in fifth in that Fiesta Z-Tech. So Ford themselves describe the Fiesta Z-Tech as timeless. They say it's a timeless favourite, and it blends smooth handling, practical features, and classic design for reliable everyday driving. The ones you race in Mondello are not for reliable everyday driving. They are for racing. And the Fiesta Z-Tech car races in the 6-hour endurance as well. The Siltec Safety Fiesta Z-Tech Championship, to give it its full name, Siltec Safety, have been sponsoring the class for quite some time. The Fiesta's first raced in 2013 in Mondello, and it is a 1,250cc Z-Tech engine. It's a 3 or a 5-door hatchback, mostly 3-door. I don't think I've ever seen a 5-door one. I could be wrong, could be totally wrong, but mostly 3 doors. You're 2 at the front and you're back. Obviously, they've roll cages in them, etc., etc. The cars are mostly built between 1996 and 2002, so they are old. They're old Z-Techs, not the modern ones that Ford called the timeless classics. They are the old Z-Techs, and they have a very tightly controlled set of regulations. They run a 9-can tyre, which is not your traditional tyre, but they do, of course, race in the famous Mondello Park 6-hour endurance race, which I believe was won by the Rabbits this last year. I'll fact check that one now quickly for you, but I know the Rabbits won it in 2022. Shane Rabbit, very, very good driver. They're all very good drivers, the Rabbit family. A great Mondello family. They know Mondello inside out. I will, of course, the race results on timing.ie doesn't want to load for me as soon as I didn't take one down. But I think it was the Rabbits that won. I know it was there was over 80 drivers entered in it last year, 24 entries. It is, of course, a 6-hour race, so it's 3 driver teams, and there was a few new teams in it as well. I know there was a Formula V team. We'll get talking more about Formula V later, because it's definitely not my favourite class, and I definitely don't talk about it too much. But yeah, so the winners of the 2024, it was the Barrables, sorry, it wasn't the Rabbits. The Rabbits won 2023. It was Team Barrable, POB Racing, Peter Barrable Racing. So the Barrables, they won the 6 hours. Then it was Murray Motorsport in second with Owen Murray and Ian Fishburne and Niall Murray. And then it was the Mighty Max, the McGoverns, in third. Then it was Jason O'Connell, William Kellett and Jack Byrne. Okay, so I don't know where I got that the Rabbits won this race. They definitely won in 2023. Team Tommy Byrne Racing as well. Tommy Byrne always comes out for the 6 hours. You'll remember Tommy Byrne. He did race in Formula 1, tried to race for McLaren in Formula 1. Crashin' Byrne, spelled B-Y-R-N-E, is the documentary there about him. So if you want to go watch that one. We're getting totally sidetracked anyways. 2 ones to watch in the Fiesta Z-Tech Championship is the Mondello car winner, Evan Walsh from Tipperary. He'll be racing in the Mondello-funded car this year, and that is part funded. Well, it's fully funded / part funded by Mondello. So Evan Walsh will be racing in that one, and keep an eye on Josh Brown as well in that class. He's a driving instructor in Mondello, is Josh Brown, so knows the track like the back of his hand, always one to keep an eye out on. And then in the other Fiestas, it's the Fiesta ST. It was Ross Barnes who won that championship last year. Michael Cullen in second, Victor Cullen in third, and it was Dara McMullen in fourth and Roy White in fifth. Roy is a bit of a dark horse. He's always up there. Never necessarily the quickest driver, but always up there. The Cullens, I'm unsure if they are racing this year. The car might be being sold, but Michael Cullen, Victor Cullen, Michael Cullen Motors, you will recognise, drove a Ferrari once, did Michael Cullen, around the Phoenix Park. Of course, Beacon Hospital as well, Michael Cullen involved in that, so that's where the Beacon Hospital sponsorship all around Mondello comes for, if you didn't know that. Jack Conaghy as well, I have to give him a shout out. He's one to watch in the Fiesta ST class, raced towards the end of last season in the Fiesta STs after winning the Future Classics Championship, transferred over to the Fiesta STs. It's practically a brand new car for Jack Conaghy, so keep an eye on him as well. But Ross Barnes, Michael Cullen, Victor Cullen, Darren McMullen, Roy White, all 5 names to watch in the Fiesta ST class. Then the Strikers. The Strikers is the Bill Griffin Motors Irish Strikers Championship, which is not a tongue twister at all. It's a Caterham kit car. It's a one-make series. They are small, they're simple, they're very lightweight. It's an open-top sports car weighing only 650 kilograms. That's including the driver. 170 brake horsepower on a Ford Z-Tech engine. We love Ford Z-Tech engines in Irish Motorsport. But it was the two Cullens who were first and second in that. Michael Cullen ahead of Victor Cullen. Niall McFadden got third, and it was Roger Whelan. Ooh. I think I have spelled poor Roger's name wrong, so I'm gonna get the standings up again. Very sorry, Roger, because the spelling that I have spelt on my notes is not a name. I can tell you that for sure. There's T's where there shouldn't be T's. So it was Roger then in fourth, with Dominic Ryan in fifth position. That is, of course, the Strikers. The Strikers are a unique one. Very, very unique one. If you Google a photo of them, you'll recognise them. I think they're on all sort of simulator games. They're definitely on Project Cars. Definitely on Project Cars, the Strikers. And they're a good class. Great racing in the Strikers because they're small and they're light. So you can get great racing from the ICCR Strikers class, and of course the Cullens are the favourite in it. Victor Cullen, I think, raced in it for the first time last season. Roger, I still can't pronounce this one. Apologies, Roger. Roger, I'm absolutely making a meal of this. Willarisne. Roger, I'm so sorry. I cannot pronounce your name. Roger, good old Roger, in the number 8 and 4th position. Very sorry, Roger. There's actually a Dalton in that class as well, which fills me with joy. Andrew Dalton finished in 10th position, got 70 points last season, but Michael Cullen was miles out in front. If he didn't, he won every single race, actually. No, he didn't. Victor Cullen won 2. Okay, so he won almost every race, did Michael Cullen. Victor won the 2 that Michael didn't race, so Michael got that as his drop round. In total scored 257 points, which is mighty impressive when it's 20 for a win. He won in Mondello, he won in Bishop's Court, and he won in Anglesey. So there was all 3 tracks won for Michael Cullen. And the Strikers, of course, travel over to Wales, into the valleys, and on the island of Anglesey. The Future Classics then, we mentioned Jack Conaghy a few moments ago. He was the champion in that, and then it was his father Noel who came second, so Conaghy domination in the Future Classics. The Precision Graphics Future Classics Racing Championship, as it's officially called. It is a series catering for saloons, hatchbacks, coupes, and GT cars that don't fit into any other Irish saloon car racing series. Eligible cars, they have to have been produced up to the end of 2004. Hence why they're called Future Classics, because they will be Future Classics. Will they be Future Classics? That's up to your own interpretation. That's not for me to make your mind up, but they are Future Classics. Future Classics is a weird class. And what I mean by that is, it is the only class in Irish motorsport, and potentially, may I say, global motorsport, that has a barrier time. And a barrier time means you can't go any faster than that time, which is not really the point of racing, in my opinion. But there's two Future Classics classes. There is the Super Future Classics, and then there's just the Future Classics. The Super Future Classics on the national track are not allowed to go any quicker than a 107, and the normal Future Classics are not allowed to go any quicker than a 109. It's a 10-second penalty if you break that barrier time, and about 5 of them do it every lap. Because you're not allowed to have a data logger in the car to tell you what lap time you're doing, but you're also not allowed to go quicker than a certain lap time. You can see why it's a little bit messy. But the racing is good, and I suppose that's what you want. But Jack Conaghy nailed it last season, won the championship dominantly, had his father Noel. Aoife Brady got third with John Lennon in fourth, and then Alan Sweetman in fifth. It was a sweet season for Sweetman, and he ended up getting in fifth. So that's the Future Classics. If you want to see random cars race, Future Classics is very much for you. There's a lot of random cars in that one, so you can check that one out. The Irish Legends, which I'm going to say now, provide the best racing in Mondello, in ICCR. The Legends are class. They are unbelievable. They have been a popular addition to the Mondello paddock, hence why I'm saying that, in recent times. They are two-thirds scale models of the Ford Coupe or Chevy sedan. That is what they are, and described by ICCR, they are potent little race cars. They are indeed. They're powered by a screaming Yamaha XJR 1250 engine. You will hear them before you see them. Again, Mondello have said that, but that is in my own words as well. You will hear them before you see them. And the liveries or the paint schemes on these cars, there's a stellar job done by the grid. They really give it a good go. I know there's a number 46, whoever drives the number 46 has a Valentino Rossi scheme. I think one of the Barrables, it goes around in a yellow car. There's bright green, there's bright pink, there's bright orange. The Legends are unbelievable. I was speaking to an American Legends racer once as well, and he says they get the same reception in smaller racing in the US around circuits like Barber, Mid-Ohio. They get a great reception, the Legends cars, and they get a great reception in Mondello as well. It was Scott Jackson who won the championship last season ahead of Lee Malone. Not to be confused with the Dublin joke of Liam Malone. Lee Malone in second. Evan Curran got third. Big up the Evans. William Lawrence, I should say, in fourth. Sylvie Bartlett then in fifth position. So a good season for Scott Jackson, but the Legends is wide open. You get a load of different race winners. Everybody gets a chance at the top. So Scott Jackson, if he is racing this season, not necessarily the favourite, because it is a very open championship. Legends are class, and the thing is, you get a lot of bang for your buck in the Legends. They do 3 or 4 races a weekend on the Sunday, and you get a lot of on-track time compared to the other classes. Them and the Minis get a lot of on-track time. So 2 more ICCR classes left before we speak a little about our drivers abroad, and they are both single-seater classes. The ever so controversial Formula V's is up next, and Formula V is one of the more popular categories. It has one of the bigger grids in Irish motorsport. It is an air-cooled 4-cylinder Volkswagen engined car, a single-seater, very lightweight, about 69 brake horsepower, but nippy enough, very light indeed, just under 400 kilograms, and has a 4-speed manual gearbox, so they don't actually go up and down the gears much. Last season, it was Gavin Buckley who took the championship win. Really impressive stuff by Gavin, a veteran of ICCR and Formula V racing now is Gavin Buckley, a veteran of the sport. Jack Byrne finished in second. Colin Blackburn in third, who actually started a podcast of his own. So congratulations on that, Colin. Kieran Hannon in fourth, and Andrew Keogh in fifth. And dare I say, they're not even the quickest drivers in the field. It's quite cheeky of me to say that, but there was a lot of quick drivers in the Formula V's. Leinster Trophy was raced by the Formula V's last season, and it went to a tribunal again, just like it did in 2023. Lee Newsom, of course, won it in 2023, and it was appealed by Colin Blackburn. Last season, Ronan Doherty won the Leinster Trophy, and I will say no more on that for legal reasons. But Ronan might not be returning this season. A good friend of mine, Ronan. I'll speak on that in a second. Exciting stuff for Doherty and for Mondello. A couple of drivers to keep an eye out on. Conor Melia, he was very quick in the rookie championship last season in his rookie season. Almost won the championship after going airborne in was it in Kyrgyzstan? I want to say it was either Kyrgyzstan or Bishop's Court, but went airborne after a collision. And Conor Melia almost won the rookie championship. He was beaten by Charlie Hart of the Hart family, Max Hart's younger brother, in that rookie championship, but very quick and very very impressive. These are 110 brake horsepower. Oh, my microphone just fell off. These are 110 horsepower, so the internet has lied to me. Certainly the ones on the simulator are 69 horsepower, but 110 horsepower we get at Mondello, I'm hearing, so 110 that is. Keep an eye on Niall O'Mara as well. Formula V's are going to sound like a treacherous class once I finish this. Hold on, I'm going to click my microphone back on. There we go. Formula V's are going to sound like a treacherous class after I finish this, but Niall O'Mara is back from a neck injury as well, which I'm not too sure was it suffered in a race car, but certainly there was a nasty injury for Niall O'Mara, but he got back behind the wheel last season. He was testing on Paddy's Day in Mondello, so good to have Niall back. And Niall, good driver, very, very young, good driver. And of course, keep an eye on Johnny Hollywood as well. I'm mentioning Johnny because he's a good friend of the page, and Johnny in I want to not necessarily infamous, because he is actually known for it a little bit, but a very vivid blue Formula V. You'll recognise Johnny's car if you're in Mondello. Johnny Hollywood, good driver. One of the best names in motorsport, Hollywood. There's a good nickname there. Things get dramatic with Johnny. If I had a badum-tish sound effect, it would play, but I might edit one in. Johnny Hollywood, a good racer. And then, of course, I have to mention my good friend Sean McClements as well. His first season in Formula V's. The car has been built and he's ready to go. Keep an eye on him. Will there be a surprise? Who knows? But Sean McClements racing in Formula V's for the first time. A total rookie, and he'll be looking to take the rookie championship. But the Formula V's, will they get the Leinster Trophy again? I'm not sure. I would like to think they would, because Formula V, they do a great effort to promote it. Michelle does a great job on the Formula V socials, most active social media of any of the Irish classes. So kudos there. Formula V doing a great job. Sometimes you get the live stream from the commentary box at Mondello, and I can tell that Michelle works hard doing that, because I've been stood in the commentary box while she did one in 2023, and it is literally running around the commentary box filming Mondello. And the view from Mondello's commentary box is not amazing. Certainly off the long circuit, you see turn 1, you see Campion through turn 2, then you don't see turn 3 or 4. Then in towards the national layout, you'd see a good bit, but through the long route, through Dunlop, 7A, 7B, you don't really see any of it, so it's quite difficult to film. But yeah, will Formula V's get the Leinster Trophy? Let me know what you think, folks. I think they will, purely because the class we're going to go on to now doesn't really provide a spectacle for it. It provides a spectacle in general, but not necessarily for the Leinster Trophy. That is, of course, the Formula Bosses, which are the quickest cars in ICCR. They are single-seaters, as always, and they are big open single-seaters. It includes open sports cars and any single-seater. If you wanted to enter your Formula 1 car, because I know we all have one of them sitting at home, you can. You can enter a Formula 1 car in Formula Boss Ireland. Admittedly, I think that's what is needed to stop Tony Greenan, but you can enter a Formula 1 car. Once they meet safety regulations, you can enter anything. The most popular cars in the class, though, they're your Formula 3s, your Formula Renaults. You will see Formula 4000s, former Formula Ireland cars, and Formula 5 cars. I didn't know there was such a thing as a Formula 5 car until a few weeks ago when I was reading about this, but there is, seemingly. It's a Formula 5 car. There is a class for up to 2-litre engines, and then there's the unlimited capacity class. The noise of these are fantastic. And if you want to sit in a single-seater car, the Formula Boss guys are the guys to go to. Noel Robinson has let me sat in his car before. They get the pit garages on the Sunday in the ICCR, so go along, you will see them. Noel Robinson is the guy to go to there. I'm very sorry, Noel, if you're listening, because I might have a load of people going over and trying to sit in your car. But Noel is very nice. Noel is a really nice man, and sometimes less people sit in his car. But it was Tony Greenan who won the championship last season, Martin Daly in second, Noel Robinson in third, then Daniel Faherty in fourth, and Michael Connolly in fifth. That's in the overall unlimited capacity class, and then in the Boss 1 class, it was Martin Daly who won the championship there, with Michael Connolly in second, Noel Robinson third. And I'm not too sure how, because he came third in the overall class, but then came third in Boss 1, so you don't know. Jonathan Fields and Dara Daly. You might recognise Fields, yes. That is Jack Fields, his father. Races in the Boss 1 class. So a good family relation there. Paul O'Connell as well in the Crocora Mills sponsored car is always one to keep an eye out for in the Bosses as well. It's always one to close your eyes and listen to as well, because Paul O'Connell's car is sweet as a nut. It is unbelievable sounding. And Paul, again, a very nice man. Doesn't get to race as much as he'd like, I don't think. But Paul does race in Europe. He does race in Formula Boss across Europe, not just in Ireland. So Paul, you can keep an eye out for him there. The last time I saw Paul's car, it was painted like a Toro Rosso, like a 2017 Toro Rosso. So it might be the same. A lot of guys do put Formula 1 liveries. I think Tony Green, again, the last time I saw him, it was either a 2019 McLaren or a Red Bull. It was one or the other. But Tony Greenan, there. So that's ICCR, folks. That is the Irish Circuit Car Championship, or the Irish Circuit Championship Racing. Yes, that's it. Irish Championship Circuit Racing. I should know it by now, given that I give them over 100 quid a year to go to it. The Irish Championship Circuit Racing. Fabulous sponsors, as always. I mentioned a few of them, but a big thanks to all the sponsors, of course, of ICCR. Just a non-ICCR class that I got a calendar sent to me for, just I'd like to mention, is the Irish Sidecar Championship. They have 5 weekends coming up this year. They'll be racing on the weekend of April 19th in Bishop's Court, the 21st of April in Kirky, in Kirkestown, 18th and 19th of July in Bishop's Court, 2nd and 3rd of August in Bishop's Court, and then the 24th and 25th of October in Bishop's Court. So a big shout out to the Irish Sidecar Championship there as well. Now it's time to talk a little bit about our Irish drivers abroad, and the big, I suppose, elephant in the room is our star, Alex Dunn. Age 19, from County Offaly, racing in FIA Formula 2. Alex, of course, racing in Albert Park this weekend. He had a poor practice. Unfortunately, he became the first man to bring out a red flag in Formula 2 this season. He crashed after someone went off in front and put a bit of gravel onto the apex of the Ascari corner in Albert Park. But he did come from 16th to 9th in the race and didn't get points, unfortunately, because that was the sprint race. And then the main race was postponed due to the wet weather in Albert Park on Sunday morning. So, unfortunately, didn't get to race in the feature race, but he did get 9th place. Also had a funny clip of him pushing a car down the pit lane, because I think it broke down or he stalled or something, but he got classified 9th, so he is top of the non-point scorers in the FIA Formula 2 Championship. But Alex, what an esteemed career he's had so far. Only 19 years of age. He's younger than me, which makes me feel horrible. 2022 GB4 champion with High-Tech, 11 wins, and that beat Lando Norris's record. 2023 GB3 runner-up, lost narrowly in the season finale, if I remember correctly there. Then, of course, raced in FIA Formula 3 with MP Motorsport in 2024 and picked up a podium in Barcelona, at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. and now racing in F2. He is a part of the McLaren Junior program, and he is their Formula V reserve driver. So he's going to get behind. He has already got behind some Formula V machinery, and he's going to get behind some Formula V machinery towards the season end, when F2 ends, of course. So brilliant stuff for Alex, and hopefully someday we have a chance at a Formula 1 driver. He's our best chance. No offence to all you ICCR folks, but he's our best chance at Formula 1 is Alex Dunn. Hopefully he can get there. James Rowe Jr. is our next one, aged 26, from Naas, County Kildare. If I had a clapping sound effect, I'd play it. Brilliant town is Naas. Absolute no bias whatsoever. But James Rowe Jr. from Naas. He's kind of from the outskirts a little bit, but the championship he races in Indy Next says from Naas, so I'm saying he's from Naas. Racing in Indy Next with Andretti Global. It's his third year in Indy Next, his second season with Andretti. He started in 2022 with TJ Speed Motorsports, had a successful season there, and he's racing now. Also racing in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship with Pratt Miller Motorsports in the LMP2 Championship, and did race at the Rolex 24 and at the 12 Hours of Sebring at the weekend. Unfortunately, he was a non-finish in both. He got involved in that big wreck in Daytona. You might have remembered it with Louis Delatraz and the Cadillac. Unfortunately, James was the LMP2 that was collected. He wasn't in the car at the time, and all drivers were okay in that accident, of course. But that was James Rowe's Pratt Miller Motorsports machine. Unfortunately, James doesn't really have luck of the Irish. He is plagued with bad luck, and which is very disappointing for James, because he's a great young man. I think he is what's the word I'm looking for? He is a representative of Notre Dame college, university in America. Their American football team, you might remember them, played in the college football, the Aer Lingus College Classic in Dublin last year. I also said Notre Dame, which is very American. But yeah, he's a representative of them. He's kind of Irish-American as James, or certainly he's picking up a little American twang. We'll have to get on to him about that. Another Indy Next driver is 24-year-old Jonathan Brown from Ratoads, County Meath. He's racing in Indy Next with Chip Ganassi Racing. Raced in Formula Fords and won the Formula Ford Festival in 2019. The Formula Ford Festival, of course, which was almost won by Jordan Kelly last year in Brands Hatch. Hello, Jason Smith, if you are listening. If you know, you know. And speaking of Formula Fords, they're going to be returning to Mondello this year for the first time. That's what I meant with Ronan Doherty earlier. He might be racing in Formula Fords this year. And you might see Jordan Kelly out in them as well. You won't see Jonathan Brown, though, who we're talking about now. His Formula 4 days are over, because he is racing in America now. Raced in GP3, the same class that Alex Dunn almost won the championship in, and the same class that our own Brandon McCaughton picked up a race win last year in Donington Park. He moved over to the USF Pro 2000 championship there, which of course I believe Turn 3 Motorsport, Peter Dempsey's team, is racing in currently. So Jonathan Brown also in Indy Next with Chip Ganassi Racing. Jack Byrne then, and I know I said there'll be no rally mentioned, but I have to mention a rally here, because Jack Byrne was racing in the Renault Clio series in Europe, but he's moved to rallying for 2025. He's actually not an Irish driver abroad, because he's racing in the Motorsport Ireland Junior Rally Series, but I was doing my research this morning, or more research I should say, for the show, and this caught my eye. Thanks Leo from motorsport.ie with the article, I believe, about him. Yeah, he's rallying in a Peugeot 208 Rally 4, and he was the winner, of course, in the 2023 Sexton Trophy. So Jack Byrne going from Renault Clios to rally, which is not something you see every day. He's a great circuit racer, is Jack Byrne, but he's going to rallies for this season. Our next driver then is another Sexton Trophy winner. We've got 3 Sexton Trophy winners on the bounce here, and it's Max Hart, 22 years of age, from Bolton Glass, won last year's Sexton Trophy, and we have an exclusive about Max Hart. Now, he wouldn't tell me the exact championship he's racing in, which is fair enough, because obviously he's not allowed, but he did mention to me earlier in a voice note that he will be doing some touring car and he will be doing some GTs. He did also mention that he's not just going to be racing one car this year. So that's a little bit of a Max Hart exclusive for you Max Hart fans out there. There is a few, especially that woman on the train who repeatedly was watching one of Max Hart's TikTok videos towards the end of last year. If you know Max Hart's TikTok, you will definitely understand that joke. It's not a joke, it really happened. Genuinely, I was amazed. She just kept rewatching Max Hart's TikTok, but I've gone on a sidetrack here. Max Hart, of course, himself and the next driver we're going to talk about, Alex Denning, starting their Malix Driving Academy. So if you're a young driver listening to this and you fancy a little bit of driver coaching, you can get onto Malix. This isn't sponsored or anything. Although if you'd like to sponsor this, Malix, feel free. But Alex Denning, he only recently announced where he's racing this year, and that is the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia Championship. 25 years old, from Dublin, Sexton Trophy winner in 2022, was racing GT4s, but he's now going to be in a Lamborghini, in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia Championship. Then another driver who's having great success abroad is Nicole Drought, another Tipperary racer. We mentioned Evan Walsh earlier from Tipperary, but Nicole Drought has a little bit more experience in circuit racing. And Nicole Drought, the reigning MSV Track Day Championship champion. And she's doing very, very well in the EBC Brakes Civic Type R, because she won this weekend as well in Snetterton, won the season opener. So Nicole doing a great job carrying that team as well, if I can cheekily say, because her teammate Justin Roberts taking a year out. So Nicole Drought doing a fabulous job. If there is any young bidding female racers who is listening to this and they want a bit of advice for someone, please go and talk to Nicole Drought if you see her in Mondello. She's one of the most approachable and nicest figures in Irish motorsport. Definitely go talk to Nicole. She'll be happy to speak to you. And a very, very good racing driver. Fabulous racing driver is Nicole Drought. Another fabulous racing driver who had success last weekend is Dan Harper, a 24-year-old from Northern Ireland. He's entering his 6th season with BMW and his first season in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. And he got a podium at the 12 Hours of Sebring last weekend. Dan, very quick as well and doing a stellar job. You definitely have heard of him if you've watched Le Mans. I think he's done a few Le Mans. Dan Harper, really good racer, and keep an eye on him from Northern Ireland. Another Northern Irish racer to round out our Irish drivers abroad is Fionn McLaughlin, the 17-year-old from Magherafelt, County Armagh. And he's part of the Red Bull Driver Academy. So recently signed for the Red Bull Driver Academy. He's a real Irish success story. He started and won the Tullyallen Car Championship in 2019, and now he is part of the Red Bull Driver Academy. This year he's racing in the Formula Winter Series and the British F4 Championship. So keep an eye on Fionn McLaughlin. I believe he got a podium in that Formula Winter Series in, I want to say Aragon, but I could be wrong with that, but I believe it was Aragon. He got a podium in the Formula Winter Series. So Fionn McLaughlin, a young talent there from County Antrim. He also follows me on TikTok, I believe, so shout out Fionn. He reposts a lot of TikToks that are quite funny. Jokes, like. So if you're on TikTok, follow Fionn McLaughlin if you want a bit of a laugh, I suppose. But that is it for our Irish drivers abroad. Big apologies if I've forgotten anyone. This is such a brilliant problem to have, what I'm about to say. We have so many drivers abroad now that it's difficult to keep up with. That wasn't the case a few years ago for Irish motorsport. It really is a fabulous, fabulous problem to have. And Irish motorsport is on the up against all odds, I feel. Funding is probably down. Maybe spectators are down. But we are producing great drivers. We're producing fabulous drivers. It gives me great pleasure to walk around my university campus here in DCU, where I'm recording this today and broadcasting this today, and see so many drivers wearing motorsports gear. And I don't mean the Ferrari jackets that you see every single person wearing. But I think I saw someone in a Cadillac racing jumper this morning, which is brilliant. The interest is there. So if you've got this far into the episode, folks, please do get yourself down to Mondello. I'm always looking to meet people there at Mondello, and so are all the drivers. So definitely do so. I do have to mention karting because, as I said, I'm recording this in DCU. And DCU are the 2025 InterVarsity Karting Champions. Beat TUD. Shane Murphy, the future SU president of DCU, that's not me saying that, he has actually been elected, won the championship. And a big shout out to him. Big shout out to Rory O'Shea and Jason Smith as well, who are racing in them, who I would like to think are listening to this, but I know them well. And speaking of Rory O'Shea and Jason Smith, sim racing. is doing very well in Ireland as well. I couldn't publish this and not mention the RTA Virtual Motorsport Championship. Fabulous guys over there. I've made such good friends since I've joined that championship, and I've had the pleasure of commentating it every week on a Tuesday night, 9 p.m. on Gantry TV. If you want to tune in, it's going to be a British Touring Car Championship next season. The sign-ups will be open when this is published, so please do get your sign-ups in. RTA Virtual Motorsport, 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. And of course, that is just the start of the Irish Motorsport season here on my season preview. A big thanks if you've got this far into the episode. It's been a pleasure to waffle for the last hour about what we have in store. So lots of different drivers, different cars, different classes, especially in ICCR. And that is just the start, really, for the year, as we said. A big thanks, folks, for listening this far. Please make sure to follow all my social media pages, and I greatly appreciate you listening to the podcast. Have a good one, folks. Enjoy some racing.